Another book that I like to use is the book Outliers by Malcolm Gladwell. And if I again start from the back here and I just let the pages fall, you can see I have a folded over page, notes that are here, also maybe a sentence about what I think is happening, so it helps me to understand what this section is about. I have more notes. I'm just going to try to go through where you can see at the end of the whole chapter. I have a word that I think kind of summarizes the most important point of the entire chapter, and that is this one word, persistence. And so I put it at the end to remind myself that was the main idea of the chapter for me. I have some notes on the side here, so when I'm flipping this way, I can see what the main point is here. Let's see. You master it if you're willing to try. Again, more things that are outlined, or scratched on. Here, cultural legacy. This is a chapter about cultural legacy too, and I'm going back to that connection between effort and reward. This is what I think that part of the paper is about. Over here on this side, it has something that I think is really important. It's what makes work meaningful, and I circled them. What makes work good, and one is that it's meaningful. There's a relationship between effort and reward. The word is complex. The work is complex and it's autonomous. Those are the three parts of having meaningful work. And I just have those outlined so I can flip back through and see them. All the way through this book, you'll see scratches and circles, and I'll just keep going through. You can look at it there. Some words that are up here, and more explanation of what this chart is about for me so that I can remember what it's about. I don't have to read everything to be able to do that. The word mitigation here is again circled, and here we have a solution. So we have a big problem, and then now they're talking about the solution, combating mitigation, and I have that down here. So finding a solution to some of these issues. I'm going to keep flipping through a little bit faster, so you can see that in different places there are things like the folded page that tells me this is important, and I'm going to go right to that. He was ecstatic because the prospect of those endless years, so that's an important part of this book. And if you work hard enough and assert yourself and use your mind and imagination, you can shape the world to your desires. And I have an exclamation point, which means that I think that's a pretty important quote or significant quote. We have more notes here. And again, I have things that are numbered, right? And so it tells me that there's something about those numbers. This is a guy in the different kind of jobs that he had trying to learn how to sell things. And that's part of the story of that chapter. And you can see there's more, like in this one, obviously, there's things here, scratched and there, scratched. I must find this to be an important page. Again, this one is scratched in the top. More here. And a lot of notes on here. So this is an important couple pages for me. And again, another note for myself, another name that's important because I recognize his name is J. Robert Oppenheimer. And then a summary of everything that this one guy was saying. I can still go through. The idea of smart enough, the idea of being smart enough. More notes, and I'm going to just keep flicking through here. Here is an interesting thing. Here, this is about Bill Gates, and these are 9 things he has that he says are opportunities that he had that have nothing to do with his ability or his intelligence. But they're just opportunities that he had that other people didn't. And he's very, very open about not being a genius, but saying that he had a lot of opportunities. And so I just numbered them so I could see how many opportunities does he does he select for himself? More information, 10,000 hours. And then at the beginning of this chapter, these are the main examples that are in this chapter: Bill Joy, Bill Gates, and the Beatles. And so I just put that at the beginning of chapter 2, so when I look at Bill Joy, I remember his story. Bill Gates, I remember his story. The Beatles, I remember their story too. And then this is the most important piece, that 10,000 hours. And then I have more notes in here with the bottom being scratched on, things like that. More words, scratches. And here's the introduction. And again, just like our introduction in whatever book that we're reading, I have the thesis, the whole controlling purpose. And that comes through here. That the value of the world we inhabit and the people we surround ourselves with have a profound effect on who we are. And that's part of his thesis. And again, you can just see from the very beginning, there's information that I am circling. So I can go through the book just at the top, too, and look from here and see, okay, this is where there are some important notes. I can go back and go right there and find a page that was really important for me, and I have it marked on both sides. So that's just a short example of what I mean by marking up a text.